is utilized to advantage by these built-in bins for flour and sugar.
Close the top and turn the switch.
The 1940s were a decade of bold home innovations, where designers and homeowners embraced gadgets and unusual features promising convenience, style, or modern efficiency. From built-in flour bins to drop-down movie screens, many ideas sounded brilliant but quickly proved impractical, unsafe, or downright odd. Some failed due to mechanical flaws, others disappeared as tastes changed, and a few were ahead of their time. So, join us as we explore 25 strange 1940s home features that failed miserably. During the 1940s, many kitchens featured built-in flour and sugar bins, a design that carried over from the popular Hoosier cabinets of the early 20th century.
Space ordinarily wasted is utilized to advantage by these built-in bins for flour and sugar. Another advantage is that they eliminate canisters.
These bins were typically metal or glass containers integrated into cabinetry, often with sifters or spouts to make measuring easier. They reflected the era's push for efficiency, when homebuilders emphasized streamlined kitchens for post-war families. Despite the convenience, the bins had serious drawbacks. Flour and sugar clumped in humid conditions, pests could infiltrate, and cleaning the fixed compartments was difficult. By the early 1950s, homeowners had turned to removable, airtight canisters that were more hygienic and portable. As a result, built-in bins quickly faded into obscurity, remembered today as a quirky mid-century experiment. Home chefs loved the convenience of built-in flour and sugar bins, but could these kitchens handle the next bold experiment? Stovetop deep fryers designed to make frying easier, yet more hazardous? During the late 1940s, stovetop deep fryers were marketed as the ultimate home cooking convenience.
In the cooking and serving center are all of the supplies and equipment used at the range.
Invented by several small appliance companies seeking to bring professional-style frying into the kitchen, they were essentially large, heavy pots with built-in heating elements. Home cooks could fry chicken, donuts, or potatoes without a separate gas burner. Yet, these devices were notoriously dangerous. Oil spills, grease fires, and overheating made accidents common. They were also difficult to clean, with removable parts that warped after repeated use. By the early 1950s, most households had abandoned stovetop fryers, favoring simpler frying pans or introducing safer countertop electric fryers later. Shoe shine stations appeared in upscale 1940s homes as a mark of sophistication. These small, built-in contraptions, often placed near entrances, included brushes, polish holders, and rotating footrests to keep the family's footwear pristine. While initially seen as a status symbol, they quickly proved impractical. Brushes wore out quickly, polish spilled, and the stations occupied valuable floor space. By the mid-1950s, the concept had disappeared almost entirely, replaced by simple shoe racks and portable kits, and the daily shoe shine ritual had faded along with formal dress habits. The 1940s saw the dawn of the atomic age, and with it came a wave of paranoia that led to the installation of home fallout shelters.
Well, folks, I'm glad you could come down to see my fallout shelter. Just finished painting it myself.
Spearheaded by Cold War-era civil defense programs and companies like Sears and Roebuck offering prefabricated models, these small reinforced rooms were meant to protect families from nuclear fallout. Often located in basements or under patios, they were stocked with canned food, water, and emergency supplies. Despite their serious intent, most shelters were impractical, expensive to build, poorly ventilated, and rarely used. By the 1950s, as nuclear fear oscillated and modern architecture prioritized livable space, these shelters fell out of favor and many were abandoned, left as creepy reminders of a panicked era. Even with shelters for nuclear fears, homemakers still needed clean kitchens. Would dishwashing stations live up to their promise of effortless cleanliness? In the late 1940s, inventive homeowners and appliance manufacturers experimented with dishwashing stations, built-in kitchen units intended to automate dishwashing.
Every pot or pan is brushed sparkling clean by this amazing hydro brush action every time.
These early prototypes, often credited to engineers like Josephine Cochrane's followers, attempted to integrate a basin, water heater, and scrubber in a single cabinet. Promoted as a time saver for post-war homemakers, the stations rarely delivered. They were bulky, prone to leaks, and often required complicated plumbing that most homes couldn't support. Cleaning them was a nightmare. Minor mechanical failures rendered the unit useless. By the mid-1950s, standalone electric dishwashers with standardized installation replaced them, making the ambitious but flawed built-in stations a short-lived curiosity. The mid-1940s brought a wave of stylish bathroom innovations, including inlaid soap dishes and toothbrush holders embedded directly into tiles or countertops. These features aimed to keep hygiene items organized and elegant, combining form with function.
Give it a little shake left to right. Get it pressed firmly against the tile. Take your finger and wipe the edges to make them round.
Unfortunately, the inlaid compartments collected water, grime, and soap scum, becoming a breeding ground for bacteria. They were difficult to clean, prone to cracking, and quickly showed wear, staining tiles permanently. By the 1950s, homeowners abandoned them in favor of removable, easily sanitized containers, and the inlaid trend disappeared from mainstream bathrooms, remembered today only in vintage house tours or restoration projects. Cedar-lined closets were once considered a hallmark of 1940s home luxury.
Vinyl plank flooring in, the cedar's pretty much finished.
The idea, popularized by architects and furniture makers in the post-war housing boom, was that cedar wood would naturally repel moths and preserve clothing while giving a pleasant scent. While attractive in theory, these closets had drawbacks. Cedar odors were overpowering for many, the wood sometimes warped in humid conditions, and the moth prevention effect was minimal compared to modern chemical repellents. By the late 1950s, homeowners shifted to cheaper, simpler closets with removable hangers and closet deodorizers. Today, cedar-lined closets are seen as quaint or decorative rather than practical, a testament to mid-century experimentation with high-class storage solutions. In the 1940s, some ambitious homeowners tried to recapture colonial charm with fireplace kitchens, where the central cooking stove was integrated into a massive hearth. These designs were inspired by early American homes and promoted by architects seeking nostalgia in post-war suburban developments. The idea was to cook over an open flame while maintaining warmth in the kitchen, often with brick or stone surrounds. While visually striking, fireplace kitchens proved highly impractical. Temperature control was poor, smoke usually filled the room, and cleaning ash was a constant chore. By the early 1950s, modern gas and electric ranges had made cooking safer, faster, and cleaner, rendering the fireplace kitchen a primarily decorative relic rather than a functional appliance. After kitchens became social hubs, bedrooms embraced luxury. Could built-in vanities offer glamour without compromising functionality? The 1940s embraced the glamour of Hollywood, and built-in vanities became a symbol of elegance in master bedrooms.
Radiant walls, brilliantly decorative in color, possible because plexiglass pipes light, provides soft, flattering illumination.
These vanities, often designed by mid-century furniture manufacturers and interior designers, combined mirrors, drawers, and seating into one fixed unit. They promised convenience for daily grooming and a seamless aesthetic. However, they were not universally practical. Fixed placement limited room layout flexibility. Drawers were often shallow, and repairs were cumbersome if the unit broke. As post-war homes modernized and taste shifted toward modular furniture, homeowners abandoned built-in vanities in favor of movable tables and mirrors. By the 1950s, built-in vanities largely disappeared, remembered more for style than long-term utility. Smoking parlors were a mid-1940s attempt to create a private, stylish retreat for tobacco enthusiasts.
Feel free to visit us at any time, whether it's our place in Palm Beach or our ranch in New Mexico or our home on Long Island or...
Often designed by upscale architects and furniture makers, these rooms featured built-in ashtrays, ventilation ducts, and leather chairs for leisurely smoking. They reflected the era's social norms, when cigar and cigarette culture was widely celebrated. However, these parlors quickly fell out of favor. Smoke lingered despite ventilation, furniture and curtains absorbed odors, and cleaning was difficult. By the late 1950s, changing social habits, health awareness, and the rise of television rooms relegated smoking to outdoor spaces or general living areas. Home smoking parlors are nearly non-existent today, a quirky reminder of outdated leisure trends. From relaxing with a cigar to managing diet, some homes added built-in scale drawers. Did these measuring innovations simplify life? In the late 1940s, some kitchens and bathrooms experimented with built-in scale drawers, a novelty inspired by the era's fascination with automation and efficiency.
We planned storage facilities to take care of all of the supplies and the equipment used in that center.
These shallow drawers concealed weighing scales for food or personal use to save counter space and streamline daily routines. Designers hoped that integrating scales into cabinetry would make portioning and dieting effortless. In practice, these drawers were awkward, often inaccurate, and required frequent calibration. Moisture and dust could damage the mechanism, and replacing them was costly. By the early 1950s, portable, reliable, affordable standalone scales replaced these built-in curiosities. The feature vanished almost entirely, remembered today only in vintage home magazines or retro-inspired kitchen shows. The Murphy bed, patented in the 1940s by William Lawrence Murphy, was conceived as a space-saving marvel for small homes and apartments.
Instead of the pretty things one used to collect for the fatal day, one finds now that the drawer itself is a dormitory.
Its ingenious mechanism allowed a full-sized bed to fold vertically into a wall cabinet, freeing floor space during the day. Popular in urban areas where every square foot counted, Murphy beds promised efficiency and versatility. However, they soon revealed practical drawbacks. The folding mechanism could jam, springs weakened over time, and the cabinets often consumed valuable wall space. By the 1950s, as suburban homes expanded and bedrooms grew, the Murphy bed fell out of mainstream use. It survives mainly in novelty or compact living solutions rather than standard households. During the 1940s, built-in radios were installed in kitchens, living rooms, or even bedrooms, reflecting the era's fascination with modern technology.
2 points that'll pay every driver to remember if you want to be sure you're getting the tops in quality when you buy gasoline.
Promoted by RCA and Zenith, these radios were embedded directly into cabinetry or furniture, creating a sleek, integrated appearance. They allowed families to listen to music, news, and entertainment without separate, bulky devices cluttering the room. Unfortunately, built-in radios were rugged to repair, often outdated quickly as technology advanced, and offered no portability. By the early 1950s, standalone transistor radios, which were smaller, cheaper, and movable, replaced the fixed models. Consequently, built-in radios vanished, leaving only vintage cabinets with silent speaker grills behind. Before widespread electric refrigeration, ice boxes were standard in the 1940s kitchens, often made of wood or metal and lined with tin or zinc.
They were made by cabinet shops or metal shops or whatever. They were made of different things.
Companies like Kelvinator and Cold Spot sold insulated compartments where a large block of ice kept food cool. Local icemen delivered ice regularly, a familiar sight in post-war neighborhoods. While effective in theory, ice boxes had significant drawbacks. Melting ice required frequent draining, odors accumulated quickly, and food spoilage remained a concern. Ice boxes quickly disappeared as electric refrigerators became affordable and widespread in the late 1940s and early 1950s. Today, they are museum curiosities or retro decor items, relics of a transitional era in food storage. With ice keeping food cool, laundry still needed airing. Were clothesline drying porches a clever solution or a weather-dependent hassle? Clothesline drying porches were a staple in 1940s homes, especially in suburban and rural America.
All metal, its lines can hold 210 feet of washing, all in a diameter of 14 feet.
Typically, a screened-in area attached to the back of a house, these porches provided a protected space to hang laundry, keeping it out of the rain and away from neighborhood eyes. Some homebuilders incorporated pulley systems to maximize hanging space, inspired by post-war housing innovations emphasizing utility. Despite the clever design, drying porches quickly lost appeal. Laundry remained dependent on sunlight and weather, and the spaces were often underused or became storage catch-alls. By the 1950s, the rise of electric clothes dryers rendered these porches largely obsolete, leaving them as forgotten architectural remnants in older homes. The 1940s saw the rise of vertical chutes designed to whisk dirty clothes directly from the upper floors to the basement laundry areas. Promoted by home builders and designers like those influenced by early suburban tract housing trends, laundry chutes promised convenience and labor-saving efficiency for busy post-war families. They were often made of metal or wood and sometimes lined to reduce noise. In practice, laundry chutes created more problems than they solved. Clothes could jam, socks were lost, fabrics were damaged, and chutes became breeding grounds for dust and pests. By the early 1950s, most homeowners abandoned them, favoring baskets and portable hampers, and the feature disappeared from mainstream residential design. In the late 1940s, cinema culture inspired homeowners to install drop-down movie screens in living rooms, turning ordinary homes into private theaters.
Hi, we're here today just discovering ways of using and not using a projection screen, which is typically a wall-mounted projection screen.
Some designs, patented by early projection equipment manufacturers, featured manually or mechanically lowered screens concealed in ceilings or cabinetry. Families could host movie nights with 16mm projectors, an exciting novelty in an era when commercial cinemas were a primary entertainment source. However, practical limitations quickly emerged. Screens were difficult to maintain, projectors were bulky and noisy, and lighting conditions often ruined the viewing experience. By the 1950s, the combination of cumbersome setup and the rise of television rendered drop-down screens largely obsolete, surviving only in rare retro or home theater experiments. Milk delivery doors were a hallmark of 1940s convenience, designed to allow glass bottles of milk to be deposited directly into kitchens without disturbing homeowners. Popularized by suburban housing developments in partnership with local dairies, these small hinged or sliding doors were typically located near kitchen pantries. While innovative, they quickly became impractical. Milk could spoil if left too long, doors leaked drafts, and the mechanisms often jammed. When refrigeration became more reliable and milk delivery declined in the 1950s, these doors were largely abandoned. Today, surviving milk doors are rare curiosities, reflecting an era when doorstep dairy service was common but ultimately short-lived. In the 1940s, bathroom radiator dryers were installed in some upscale homes, combining the need for warmth with drying laundry and towels.
Cast iron rads are something that many people know about and like, but too few consider them a realistic heating option for the 21st century.
Usually connected to steam or hot water radiators, they featured wire racks or rods to hang wet garments. Designed by heating specialists and interior designers, these units promised year-round convenience and faster drying. In practice, they were inefficient. Drying took hours. Moisture often damaged wood trim, and the racks rusted or warped. Safety concerns also emerged, as towels could overheat or catch fire. By the 1950s, electric dryers and wall-mounted towel racks replaced them, making bathroom radiator dryers an impractical novelty that faded rapidly from domestic architecture. If bathrooms innovated, so did sewing corners. Could hideaway sewing tables provide space-saving functionality without constant frustration? The 1940s brought the concept of hideaway sewing tables, designed to streamline homemaking by folding or sliding neatly into walls or cabinetry when not in use.
The support iron pops out like it should.
These clever inventions, popularized by mid-century furniture makers such as the Colonial Sewing Company, were intended for small suburban homes where space efficiency was valued. The tables often included built-in compartments for thread, needles, and fabric. However, they quickly fell out of favor due to practical issues. The folding mechanisms were fragile, storage compartments were cluttered, and the tables could not accommodate modern sewing machines. By the early 1950s, freestanding sewing tables and compact portable machines rendered hideaway tables largely obsolete, leaving them as a quaint design experiment. Bidet attachments started appearing in some American homes during the late 1940s, inspired by European hygiene trends and promoted by plumbing manufacturers aiming to modernize bathrooms.
Use the bidet itself. You want to make sure this washes all the way up, and then here you can turn this and you'll see.
These small fixtures could be mounted on toilets or sinks, offering an intimate cleaning alternative to toilet paper. While innovative, bidet attachments failed to gain widespread acceptance. Many homeowners found them awkward, confusing, or unsanitary, and installation required specialized plumbing that many homes lacked. Cultural resistance also played a significant role, as Americans in the 1940s were not accustomed to this level of personal hygiene equipment in their bathrooms. By the 1950s, bidets and their attachments mostly vanished from U.S. homes, remaining a niche European import. The pastel bathroom craze swept through 1940s America with pink, mint green, and powder blue tiles, sinks, and bathtubs symbolizing modernity and optimism after the war.
This is the bathroom of the 1940s house. It was still not all that very common to have an indoor bathroom.
Designers and tile manufacturers promoted these cheerful colors to brighten small, utilitarian spaces. Despite initial popularity, pastel bathrooms quickly became outdated. Colors faded unevenly, grout stained easily, and the trends shifted in the 1950s toward more muted, versatile hues. Homeowners also realized that pastel fixtures limited decor flexibility and resale appeal. Consequently, many pastel bathrooms were remodeled or painted over within a decade, leaving this once iconic style as a nostalgic curiosity in the history of American interior design. After painting bathrooms, chores demanded innovation. Could mangled ironing machines save time, or just create new labor? Mangle ironing machines, a 1940s attempt to automate laundry, were large, roller-based devices designed to press clothes flat.
Let's Mary see what's going to happen ahead of time. On the forming board, she can smooth out the wrinkles and arrange and guide the garment with ease.
Inspired by commercial laundry technology and marketed by appliance makers like the American Mangle Company, they were installed in basements or dedicated laundry rooms. Homeowners were promised smooth, wrinkle-free clothes with minimal effort. In practice, mangles were cumbersome, noisy, and required significant space. Fabrics could easily get caught or damaged in the rollers, and the operation posed safety risks, especially for children. By the early 1950s, electric and steam irons became affordable, efficient, and safer alternatives. Consequently, home mangles disappeared almost entirely, surviving only in commercial laundries or as nostalgic curiosities in vintage appliance collections. Servant call buttons were a hallmark of upper-middle-class 1940s homes, inspired by Victorian-era servant annunciator systems.
That's a funny thing, Simon. That's a sound you won't forget. I know.
Small, wall-mounted buttons or pull cords, often patented by home innovation companies in New York, allowed residents to summon household staff from any room. They promised convenience and efficiency, especially in large suburban homes with live-in help. However, the system quickly fell out of favor as household dynamics changed. Maintenance was costly, wiring was prone to failure, and the social expectation of round-the-clock servants declined after World War II. By the 1950s, most homes abandoned call buttons entirely, leaving them as quirky historical artifacts reflecting a bygone era of domestic hierarchy and automation. Pull-out breadboards, a 1940s kitchen innovation, were thin wooden boards integrated into cabinetry that could slide out for chopping or slicing bread. Kitchen designers who sought to maximize counter space promoted these boards to be hygienic and convenient, tucked away when not in use. Despite the clever idea, pull-out breadboards proved impractical. They wore quickly, became difficult to clean, and often warped due to moisture. The sliding mechanisms jammed or broke, and the limited surface area could not accommodate larger tasks. By the early 1950s, freestanding cutting boards became the preferred choice, and pull-out breadboards disappeared from most kitchens, remembered today as a quirky mid-century attempt at efficiency.